Hello, Year 4, and welcome to day 8 of our home learning. It is the 20th of January 2021. So, how are we all getting on? I hope we're all doing okay and trying our best at every part of the PowerPoint. Okay, so that is maths and English and afternoon lessons. Okay. So let's get on, shall we? Okay, so our early morning work. Number one, I'll go through them first and then you can you can work them out. So number one is a true or false question. 9.5 kilometers is the same as 9,050 meters. I would look at how many meters in 9 kilometers and how many meters in half a kilometer and then add those together. Is that true or false? Number two, it's saying match the shape to its perimeter. Okay, so you have got some missing sides there. So what I would do is look at the bottom and you have 8 and 12 centimeters, and then look at the top, you've got 12 and 4. They should measure the same length, so that tells you the missing horizontal measurement. Then at the sides you've got one full side at 8 centimeters and the other side is one missing part and the other one is 4. So what's the difference? And then which one is the correct perimeter? 30 centimeters, 32 centimeters, 60 centimeters, or 64 centimeters? Number three, we've done this. Which shape has the greatest perimeter? Work out the perimeters and then decide. Number four, calculate the perimeter of the rectilinear shape. So you have to work out what the perimeter is of the outside of the shape. Then, number five, Millie is calculating the perimeter of a rectangle which is 10 centimeters wide. It's 10 centimeters long. Its perimeter is 30 centimeters. She says the rectangle must be 20 centimeters long. Is she correct? You have to convince me that she is or she is not correct. So now pause the video now and get started on those 5 questions. Okay, welcome back. So we have number 1, true or false. 9.5 kilometers is the same as 9,050 meters. That is false because 9 kilometers is 9,000 meters and half a kilometer is 500 meters. So the total meters would be 9,500. Number 2, match the shape to its perimeter. Well, I worked out the 3 missing vertical, the up and down measurements are 4 centimeters, and the horizontal, the one going across, is 4 centimeters as well. So the total of all of those measurements, the perimeter would be 64 centimeters. Number 3, which shape has the greatest perimeter? So 4 meters and 5 meters is 9 meters multiplied by 2 is 18 meters. The yellow rectangle, you've got 7 meters and 2 meters, which is 9 meters multiplied by 2, and that's 18 meters as well. Then you have got 8 meters and 8 meters. I know that's a square, so I know that every measurement is the same anyway. So 4 eighths are 32. So the blue square has the largest or the greatest perimeter. Number 4. Calculate the perimeter of the rectilinear shape, and I got a perimeter of 18 centimetres. Number 5. Millie is calculating the perimeter of a rectangle which is 10 centimetres wide. If one side's 10 centimetres, the opposite side is 10 centimetres. So that gives you a total so far of 20 centimetres. Its perimeter is 30 centimetres. So 30 subtract 20 is 10. So the other opposite sides must be 5 centimetres. So she was incorrect. Okay, so we're going on to our English work now. Okay? Now, we're not reading today. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit more spag. So we looked at prepositions yesterday. We're now going to look at, and let's hear you banging your knees, fronted adverbials. If you remember, we have talked a little bit about what an adverb is. And remember, an adverb is one word that tells you how someone is doing something, okay, or where. So a fronted adverbial is a couple of words, it's a short phrase that goes at the beginning of your sentence. Okay, so let's have a look to see what we're going to be doing. So, an adverbial phrase is like an adverb, but it has more than one word. It tells us how, when, where, or how often a verb is done. And remember, a verb is the action word, it's the doing word. So, we've got some examples of adverbial phrases. As fast as they could, after the sun came up, underneath the table, once or twice a month. So we've got how, as fast as they could, where, underneath the table, how often, once or twice a month, and after the sun come up is when. Brilliant. So an adverbial phrase can come at the beginning of a sentence or at the end. So if you have a look at the very first sentence, after the storm, the children spotted a rainbow. Now, after the storm is telling you when. Okay, and if you notice, after the adverbial phrase, after the fronted adverbial, you have a comma. So after every fronted adverbial, you use a comma if it is at the beginning of your sentence. Now I can change that round, and it is the children spotted a rainbow after the storm. So, when an adverbial phrase is placed at the beginning of a sentence, it is known as a fronted adverbial. So, every Sunday afternoon, comma, he practices his diving skills. From the highest board, comma, he dived into the warm pool. And we must remember use a comma after a fronted adverbial. Unlike adverbial phrases, fronted adverbials can be just one word. Happily, comma, Alfie watered the flowers for his grandmother. Usually, comma, Alfie helps to keep the garden neat and tidy. There you can see one word, but again, you've got a comma after it. Now, what I would like you to do is I would like you to copy these three sentences down, decide which ones have used a fronted adverbial, and then I want you to underline the fronted adverbial. So can you write first of all today's date, which is Wednesday, the 20th of January 2021, and your target is fronted adverbials. So number one, I will read them all to you first. Number one, quietly in his bedroom, Marlon painted a lovely picture for his mum's birthday present. Number two, the children enjoy making crafts to sell on the school playground every now and then. And number three, since the start of term, art and design had been his favourite after school club. So you now need to pause the video and write those three sentences down. Decide which ones have fronted adverbials. Think about the punctuation and underline the fronted adverbial for me. When you have finished those three sentences, you can then press play again. Okay, so now we have another three sentences. And this time you're going to tell me, or you're going to show me by writing these sentences down, and you're going to put in the missing comma. Remember, where does the comma go? Yeah, right at the end of your fronted adverbial. So let's have a look at number one, and we will do number one together, and then you can do the others. After a long day at work, Dad lowered himself into the bubble bath to relax and wind down. Okay then, what part of that sentence is the fronted adverbial? Which part tells us how, when, how? Yeah, it's after a long day at work. Okay, so after the word work, you would put your comma. So what I would like you to do now is to do number two and number three. And I would like you to write those down and put in your comma and then underline the fronted adverbial for me. So pause the video now. Okay, so now I would like you to have a look at these three sentences. Which is the odd one out? So you need to write all three down, and then you need to decide which one is the odd one out. And you can tick the one that you think is the odd one out, and I would like you to tell me why you think it's the odd one out. So I will read the sentences for you, and then you have to write a sentence. This sentence is the odd one out because. So the first sentence, we need to get ready for non-uniform day at school. Before answering the door, she quickly brushed her hair. And then the last one, suddenly the horse bucked and threw off the jockey. Which one is the odd one out? I'll read them through once more and then pause the video. We need to get ready for non-uniform day at school. Before answering the door, she quickly brushed her hair. Suddenly, the horse bucked and threw off the jockey. So, what I would like you to do is write them down and either tick or circle or whatever, which one you think is the odd one out, and then explain why. Okay, Millie says she has used adverbial phrases in each of her sentences. Number 1. Frequently, they fly the red kite in the local park. Number 2. On the sharp tree branch, the ribbon tore in half. Number 3. Patiently, she tied the bright orange bows tightly. Is she correct? Okay then, let's go on to our task. After you have written those down and you have told me the answer. Okay, your task. In your word packs, I have given you a mat of examples of fronted adverbials. Okay? And it's like a table. I would like you to use these to write your own sentences. I would prefer it if your sentences were about how to train your dragon. Okay? If you can't think of a sentence to do with how to train your dragon, don't worry, but try and include it in most. Okay? Now, don't forget those commas after your fronted adverbial. Also, you have got a cut and paste fronted adverbial sheet, and then, or if you haven't got any glue, because I know not everyone has, I certainly don't, and we don't have any at school, do we? So just write them in, okay? So fantastic work, year 4. Send me a photo, please, of your sentences. I've only had one person's work in again this week, okay? Now pause the video now and get on with your task before we come back to reading workshop. Okay, so our reading workshop. Who can remember what we have been reading for our reading workshop this week? Yeah, it's the Jabberwocky. And who was the author of the Jabberwocky? Yeah, Lewis Carroll. Brilliantly. Okay, so what you need in front of you is your sheet that is titled I Can Summarise What Is Happening. And you need your copy of your poem, and the work that you did yesterday would be ideal because it's giving you all the meaning of the unknown words. What I would like you to do is I would like you to read verse 1 and then look at the words that you looked up yesterday and the words that we would use now. And I would like you to tell me what is happening in each verse. Okay, in the table provided. So in verse 1, what's happening in verse 1 after you've read the nonsense part and of the word using the words that we did yesterday? And I would like some sentences in each box for all of the verses, please. Okay? So, what I would like you to do is pause the video, and then I would like you to get on with that. Okay, history. What I wanted you to do, I did set you a huge task yesterday, okay, to do the poster with all the maps of the different times. If you would like to be reminded of that, then what I would do is go onto yesterday's video and I would look at those maps and listen to what I've said, okay? And then I would like you to finish off that map. Have you got diagrams? Have you got pictures? Have you got writing? Is it brightly coloured? Is it informative? Does it tell you about everything that has happened all the way from the first map all the way to the latest one, and what is the differences? Okay? Thank you so much for all of your hard work. I am so appreciative that you are trying your best because I'm sure it's not going to be long before you're back in the classroom with me and I've got my lashing stick and I'm ready to see who has really tried because I'll know not only by looking at your books but what you can remember. The more you do, the more you remember. Okay? So, when you're finished, read your book, times table rock stars, and relax. Okay? Or if you're going out for a walk, go out for a walk. Okay, and I will speak to you all very soon. Remember, I will be coming on Friday morning this week to pick up your completed work packs and hand you your new ones. Okay, bye for now. Au revoir.